Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome back to my channel. And no, I am not going to do my regular intro today, and I explain why in just a second. I have already filmed my entire response and reaction to the phone calls between Gabbie Hanna and Jessi Smiles, and that video is actually uploading right now. But while I was uploading it, I wanted to go in and see if Gabbie Hanna had made a response to what had happened in the last 24 hours. Or if she had decided, because of the seriousness of what was going on, maybe she realized her part in what was going on, that she was going to take a little bit of a break, or I didn't know what would happen, right? I tried to do my video in a very delicate way, and I think you'll see that when you watch the video, because I feel that this topic is very, very serious, very triggering, and I think an important discussion to be had. So I was surprised when I went over to Gabbie Hanna's Twitter and found that she had not only posted on Twitter, but had posted on TikTok, which I will explain in just a second. But before I get into this video, I do want to share with you the two tweets that I put out last night after I had watched the phone calls, because I had actually made a video yesterday about Gabbie Hanna. So I posted and I said, I had not seen Jessi's post when I filmed my video today. Watching those calls makes me so sad. I don't think Gabbie Hanna even has any idea how she affects others. This is literally beyond. Hearing those calls, knowing she knew all of this while defending herself, is sick. And then I said, I cannot get those calls out of my head, condescending and manipulative, and the fact that she began to demand her to make a public statement and threaten lawsuits when she had the audacity to listen to this man. Ma'am, you are done. And so that was my feeling about it last night. I listened to the phone call several times. I really tried to figure out how to do this in a way that would be fair to what we're talking about, and also give my immediate response to these things and reaction. But at the same time, I would never want anybody to harm themselves over a serious situation, and I want to make that very, very clear at the beginning of this video, which is why if you watch the video, you'll say, I'm not in any way excusing or defending. I'm saying that because I wouldn't want Gabbie to hurt herself in any kind of way over a situation which I believe, as a human being that has worked on myself very, very hard, okay, and has 26 years plus of recovery, that we can work on ourselves. I would never want somebody to harm themselves or hurt themselves over a situation that I do believe can be worked on and rectified to take responsibility for our actions. That being said, when I went over to Gabbie Hanna's Twitter, and one tweet that she has put out is a video of her working out, and the other Twitter is a TikTok of her singing a song, what I realized was that Gabbie Hanna does not have the capacity to understand the seriousness of the situation. That is why I think that she continues to hurt other people, because she is unwilling to take any kind of responsibility or any kind of look at herself. So I wanted to put that out there because I think that's important in discussing this before we even get into this video. That the reaction and the response to Gabbie Hanna less than 24 hours later, these phone calls have been up and the whole world is having things to say about it, is to post a song singing on TikTok. So here you go. Here is my response. Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. And I'm not going to do my normal intro that I typically do over here with the flipping of the fans and the song today, because the topic that I'm going to be talking about today and doing commentary on, which I do not consider drama, I do not consider gossip or tea, is too serious, but I also think important that to discuss, and especially in the realm of talking about everything that has happened with Gabbie Hanna in the last several years. And as somebody that has covered a lot of what is going on with Gabbie Hanna, I think it's really important to talk about this topic. But I think also to respect the seriousness of it. Before I get into this, I do want to say, I want to give a trigger warning that we're going to be talking about some very, very serious topics in here today. I also want to say, and this video is in regards to the phone call messages that Jessi Smiles put out last night on Twitter between she and Gabbie Hanna, which the phone calls happened on June 22nd of 2020, and they both consented to it being recorded, and this is my commentary on those phone calls, which is fair use. I just want to say, before getting into this video, that when I initially listened to these phone calls, first of all, I mean, the more and more that comes out about Gabbie Hanna, the less I'm surprised. But I honestly was really blown away last night listening to these phone calls, and my heart, like I'm sure most of you that have already heard them, just completely fell for Jessi. I just can't even imagine. I just cannot even imagine what she is going through and what she has gone through. So I just want to send out Jessi some love, prayer, and support. And she's getting it, you know, from a lot of different places. And I hope that she is surrounded, and I'm sure she is, by a lot of love and support. That being said, you know, in talking about all the people that I talk on my channel about, I always say that I hope for the best, you know, that I hope that they work on themselves and they have, they continue to be a better version of themselves. Listening to these phone calls last night, and I listened to them several times, made me very, very aware of, you know, we joke about people being in a dark place. Gabbie Hanna really needs some help. And a lot of people have said that. And a lot of people that she has interacted with have said that. That being said, you know, as much as I feel that Gabbie Hanna uses her platform to hurt other people, which I do believe, as much as I feel that Gabbie Hanna, you know, I said in my video yesterday that I do not believe that she understands how she affects other people. And so many people commented on my video and said, Gabbie Hanna understands exactly how she hurts other people and she gains enjoyment from that. And, you know, I guess it's just from my point of view that I don't really, I can't imagine what that would be like to gain enjoyment from hurting other people. And if that is true, then Gabbie really needs more help than maybe even I assumed, you know? But I too hope that Gabbie is surrounded by people that love and support her, because, and this is the thing, okay? I have learned as a person in recovery of 26 plus years that those people that I have the biggest issues with, okay? Those people that I have anger towards or resentment, that I have to want for them the same things I would want for myself, in hopes that maybe they can see their part in how they have hurt other people. And I hope that Gabbie can see at some point, and maybe this is the wake-up call for her, that she can see how she really affects and hurts other people. I hope the response to these phone calls coming out is not Gabbie Hanna turning it into a video where she defends herself, because I don't think there's any defense against this. I hope it's not Gabbie Hanna putting out a string of tweets or a string of TikToks defending herself and explaining her side of the story, because quite frankly, I don't think she has a side to the story. I don't think it's her story to tell. And I think that was the saddest thing for me in watching these video clips last night that Jessi put out. But I also would not want anything horrible to happen to another human being that I do believe can work on themselves enough to rectify the wreckage of their past. And I hope that Gabbie can really realize how she is affecting people and start to clean up that wreckage of her past, start to take responsibility for her actions. If not for the other people, if not for her career, if not for her fans that she claims to care so much about, which I do not believe in the slightest. I think she is one of the most selfish, self-centered, self-righteous people I have ever witnessed on the platform of YouTube. I think she hides behind this guise of caring about her fans, but if not for her fans, if not for the people that she has harmed, if not for the people around her, I hope that Gabbie, for herself alone, can work on these things so that she can really improve on a daily basis as a human being, like we all hope to do, okay? You know, and so I hope that, I just too hope, I just, this whole situation to me, it really breaks my heart. And listening to this phone call, you know, and I don't want for 1 second for anybody to think that I am excusing or defending what Gabbie is doing, okay? I think this is an important conversation to be had. I just don't want to be, I think there's a way that we can discuss this. I think there is a tactful, classy way. And I think Jessi demonstrated in a classy, tactful way how to begin this conversation, okay? So let's have this conversation. Jessi Smiles put out these tweets last night, and she said, Gabbie and I want to say this before, I'm going to include the video clips of all of these because I don't know how to have this conversation without doing that. Dustin Daly has also done he did a very nice job of putting it all together with the tweets. So if you've already seen it over there, or you want to go see it over there, I'm just going to put the video clips up that Jessi posted. I'm going to put them in together in a row, and then I have some notes of how I feel about this, okay? And it's 12 minutes of clips, so if you want to fast forward through it, feel free to do that. But Jessi put out this tweet, and she said, Gabbie and I had a phone call last summer. I never planned to release it. In fact, there's nothing I want more than to never talk or think about Gabbie ever again. But her continued lying about my trauma has officially broken me, and I don't know what else to do. So before I get into these video clips, I do want to say this. Like I said, you know, I am in no way excusing anything that Gabbie did. I want healing for all of these people. This is such a sad, sick situation to me. I don't even really understand how Gabbie feels that she is part of this. This is really not her story to tell. You know, she references at the end, she says, this is not me trying to hurt you in any way. This is what she says to Jessi Smiles. This is not me trying to say, no, wait, this is before that. She says, if that's not going to happen, then I need to continue doing what I'm doing. And I also need you to work on a public statement, and then we can work on it together. I want a public apology. That should never have, about these things never having been made public. And then Jessi says that's not going to happen. And then she continues to say, what I want is for people to hear my side. I don't want to hear you. Or she says, the only thing I want is for my name to be cleared, for me to feel my story is heard. What Gabbie Hanna doesn't realize is this was never her story to tell in the first place. This was Jessi's story. And she has absolutely 100% taken away any power that Jessi had in her story whatsoever. And that's, to me, one of the saddest things about this. Gabbie Hanna continues to go on and hurt people, and she uses her platforms of Twitter and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram to do that. My question is, how many people does this have to happen to, you know, before Gabbie has a wake-up call and realizes, wow, I'm really affecting a lot of people in a negative way, and most importantly, I'm affecting myself, you know? And I think that that's, at the end of the day, what I hope that she realizes is by doing this, she's hurting a lot of people, and she's hurting herself as well. So here are the video clips, and I'm going to let you guys see them and make up for your own minds what you think.
This is what you told me. You hung out with Curtis's friends. Curtis was there, pulled you to the side, told you, I'm so sorry I was mean to you. I can't believe what Jessi did to you.
He FaceTimed me right after our first fight because I genuinely, dead ass, do not know how people knew about it.
And why'd you pick up to him?
I didn't have the number saved. That's the first situation, was a FaceTime call. The second situation was when we were at an event and he tried to take a selfie with me, and I was like, no, that's not happening. And then the event that I'm assuming you have to be talking about is when I was at 1600 Vine, and then he came there. I think I was at Lele's, and then he showed up, and I was like, oh, fuck no. He tried to talk to me and pull me aside there.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a completely different situation. That's literally months and months later.
You were at a place with his friends. He showed up and pulled you to the side. I said that.
You hung out with Curtis's friend. Curtis was there, pulled you to the side.
I said
and
that.
You said that as the way that it all went down. I also didn't hang out with, his friends.
You admitted to it.
People who knew Curtis. I think I was at Lele's. We all lived in the same building.
Yes, and he showed up and pulled you to the side.
Guess what? I am allowed to have friends. I'm allowed to collaborate. I can't cut everybody out of my life.
I didn't even know you spoke to him all these times. I'm finding out now, and honestly, I'm frankly disgusted. So I didn't even know all of this. I didn't know you took it.
Talking about you're disgusted. I literally just told you about the first.
Don't tell me what am I talking about. I just had a. Don't tell me that, because I just had a panic attack hearing you say that you heard him out.
He said, do you mind if I tell you the story of that night? And I said, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I've heard her side. You can tell me yours. So he told me the exact same story. Literally.
I didn't even know that he told you the story of the night I was raped. I never knew that.
Yeah, so he told me the story, and then I told him.
Why would you listen to him? Why would you listen to him? Really? Why would you? Even.
I was getting ready to defend you. I was
But for what? Just say no, sir. Thanks. Like, fuck you. Like, even though she's not my friend, I don't want to hear how you think you didn't rape her.
Literally, I deadass was waiting for him to lie. And like,
Who cares? Like, just hang up. Fuck him.
Jessi, I wanted to fight for you too.
Don't. Like, literally, fuck him.
I agree. Fuck him. I agree. But like when he said that, I literally wanted to catch him in his lie. But then
For what?
he told me his story, and I told him, well, Curtis, that is literally the story that Jessi tells. And at the end of the day, she was asleep. Like, that is what I said.
I need
And then he
to,
was like,
excuse me, I need to call you back. I'm sorry. I'll call you back.
Okay. You're making it sound like I'm friends with him.
No, I'm not.
The story from the start.
I'm just saying, how could I get...
Like, this isn't news.
It is news!
Jessi, that's literally always been what I've said.
I've
I've always said, he asked me to tell, it's literally in my notes on Twitter that I said he asked me if he could tell me the story, and I wanted to catch him in a lie, Jessi. Like, I was ready to fucking tell him off and be like, that's not true. And then when he told me the same story, I said, yeah, so you're telling me the same story, which is she was asleep and you raped her. That's what I said. And then he said, okay, well, now you at least know it from my side. I said, okay, I'm never going to publicly bash you or defend you. I'm never going to publicly bash Jessi. And
yeah,
said,
right.
And by the way, he did try to blackmail me, by the way, afterwards.
He tried to blackmail you or me?
He did.
About me that day on TMZ article, why did you lie about defending Curtis?
I said I never ditched my friend for her rapist or publicly defended my best friend's rapist.
This was the day the story broke. I hadn't seen the article yet. Whatever he tweeted, I genuinely have no idea what his tweet was. I responded with a current Vine meme, which was a Big Sean Lil Wayne song, beware, beware, beware of a woman with a broken heart. I don't remember what he said. Obviously, it had nothing to do with the rape case. So that was that day before I ever saw it. The tweet is deleted because I was like, oh shit, I didn't understand the context of anything about this.
One of my friends, like a guy friend, was falsely accused, and it fucked up his life, and all of a sudden it came out that it was false, and I fucking hated that bitch. So when it came out, like, I said that thing about whatever the thousands, I don't remember, I have no idea what it actually said, but it's clear that I said something along those lines. First of all the ones that I saw, because I never went back and deleted anything, so all the ones that I saw never showed that. They said, get popcorn, or why is TMZ talking about Viners? And then I saw the one that you're referring to, which says somebody responded, the actual tweet's not there, so I don't know what it says, but somebody said something about, oh, thousands of women, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, I remember this. I tweeted this and deleted it like a minute later, because at that point, if you don't remember, we had no idea who each other were. I barely had a Vine account. I had a few thousand followers on there. Right. I was literally a fan watching Vine.
Gotcha.
I said something stupid that I felt bad about, deleted it immediately, and now years later we're talking about it when you and I, like, the fact that that's even coming up now, and that you use that as an argument, when we became friends 8 months after that, I put it up, I regret it, as a fan of Vine and a follower who was commenting on the lives of two people she never met.
Wait, I'm sorry, you can't...
Just like, hey, I let you speak, please. Of Vine and a follower who was commenting on the lives of two people she never met.
Wait, I'm sorry, you can't...
Hey, I let you speak, please. So just like commenting on my life, in my situation, our situation, that was what I did. I put some tweets up that I obviously don't agree with in 2020. Mm-hmm. It was 6 years ago.
Correct.
And I didn't remember them until I saw them again. And I was like, okay, yeah. But my whole point of this is, why is this coming up in 2020 when we became friends 8 months after those tweets were even out? So it just shows that you're retroactively trying to paint me as a villain. Where, like,
Gabbie, the answer to your question is you. Do you realize that in your video that is not factual? Like when you said, oh, I had no idea the context. Like, you do understand that obviously that's not true.
No, I don't. Okay, Jessi.
Yeah.
You understand, and I know that you know this. Mm-hmm. When that story dropped, every single person was saying that you lied.
Are you kidding me? Is that your justification? Because
Jessi, I'm telling you.
Everyone's apologized to me for it, first of all, and it doesn't make it better.
And so have I.
and you're taking it back by trying to pretend it never happened. If you want people to stop calling you a rape apologist, you have to address the tweets.
Jesse, and I will, but I also
Okay,
have
that's
to
it.
talk about the history of our relationship, and that's what I plan on doing, is saying...
How is that relevant to you being a rape apologist? This was the
Jesse,
first...
how is anything you did in your video relevant?
You did a DM, and I basically did a table reading of it.
I want a public statement and apology saying I should have never done this. It was inappropriate to share private conversations publicly. That is the way that I will stop talking about this and literally drop it. I want something that says I'm sorry that I hurt this person. I should not have done this. I shouldn't have shared private messages. And straight up, like, my lawyers will not let me drop this without an NDA, because, like, I'm going to live the rest of my life wondering when's the next time Jesse's going to be like, you know what, fuck Gabbie. She did do this. I want to expose her again. And, like, that's where I'm at. It's like, genuinely just want it to be fucking for real over.
Let's keep this offline and just sue me, and we'll see what happens in court. And then we don't have to bring our followers through this. We don't have to bring our fans through this, and we get to the bottom of what's been, you know, hurting you. Just sue me, and then we won't have to bring our fans into this.
I'm more interested in bringing my fans into it, because those are the ones who are affected.
But
I don't want your money, Jessie. I do not want your money.
I'm not saying...
I don't want it.
I'm literally saying, like, I think your fans are affected too, because this is... I mean, like, I see your live streams and I was worried.
You should be. I'm fucking suicidal.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You have to continue to do this because I...
No, that's why we shouldn't. I don't... Yeah, I don't want to...
That has not helped me. I still have to clear my name, so I have to, like, keep doing this.
You are narcissistic abusers. And you have been for 6 fucking years, Jessi Smiles. I have to keep that in.
So you're telling me you're gonna go on live stream, you're gonna tell all your followers everything about all our past. I don't see an end game in that for you. And that's why I was saying just to sue me.
Jessi, that's stress for me too.
I know that.
I keep going and sitting with these litigators, thinking about the idea of people saying how terrible I am for suing somebody with a child. What I want is for people to hear my side. I have no desire to take food out of your kid's mouth. I know that, like, your kid is in, like, speech classes. Like, that shit's expensive. You're a mother. You're a family. I don't want to hurt you. The only thing I want is for my name to be cleared, for me to feel like my story is heard, and for this to go away. Obviously, people are going to keep asking me about it, and, like, if it's not going to happen, then I need to, like, continue doing what I'm doing. And I also want you to work on a public statement. Obviously, people are going to keep asking me about it, and, like, if it's not going to happen, then I need to, like, continue doing what I'm doing. And I also want you to work on a public statement, and then we can work on it together. I want a public apology that should never have been made public.
That's not gonna happen, so I understand.
Okay, so then we keep going.
I'm not doing anything with you. Like, I'm not. Like, this is not, you say we keep going.
I'm gonna keep going then. I have publicly apologized for a situation that should have been private. So I think that it's only fair that you can also extend that same courtesy to me, considering what I've been through. This isn't me trying to, like, hurt you or threaten you in any way. Like, this is not do this or it's gonna happen. Like, I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's just like, I'm not doing it to hurt you.
So there were the video clips, and now this is my reaction to the video clips, okay? And I have like 23 points, and I'll try to get through them quickly because I know that this video is already kind of long. So like I said at the beginning, the phone call took place on June 22nd of 2020, and both consented to it being recorded. At that time, Jessi thought that Gabbie had only talked to Curtis on one occasion, but she had actually talked to him on 3 different occasions, meaning that Gabbie had lied. And, you know, what's interesting about this to me, and confusing as well, is that Gabbie hides behind this this idea that she cares so much about her fans, and she says that at the end when Jessi says to her, you know, then let's take me to court, you know, take me to court and sue me, and then let's just get to the bottom of this. And Gabbie says, no, I'd rather, you know, take this to my fans and my supporters, which, to be honest with you, it's so cringe to me anyway when I hear these YouTubers talk about their fans. It's like, Gabbie Hanna has such an inflated idea of who she is as a person. It's like, oh, I'm a Viner, and these Viners, I mean, this has been who she's been dying to be forever, and now she's shoving it in everybody's face how important and she is, you know? And it's like, okay, you're somebody that got lucky on Vine, and you got lucky on YouTube, and you think you are owed all this. I mean, it's to me like when you listen to these phone calls, they're condescending, they're manipulative, they're demanding, and they're entitled. And it's just like, how Gabbie could listen back to these conversations and feel that, I don't know, I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. So then she goes on to say that she took his FaceTime call. And Jessi says, and then he said to her, do you mind if I tell you the story of that night? And she says, yeah. And she says, she told me her side, you can tell me yours. And then he told her the exact same story. And the thing to me is, like Jessi says at that point, she's like, why'd you take his call? And Gabbie's like, well, I didn't have his number blocked. So your friend, okay, this happened to your friend that you knew, that you cared about. Okay, let's take that away. Even if this happened to a complete stranger, even if this happened to somebody that you really did not like, to somebody that you despised, okay? Why would you, as soon as you knew who it was, why wouldn't you hang up that phone call? Why would you be part of that? Why would you not say, first of all, I'm not going to listen to this. Anything that you have to say, you can tell to the police, okay? Or why wouldn't you say, I'm not going to do this, to another human being, let alone another woman? Why would you not say, I can't be part of all of this. Like, this is disgusting. No, I don't want to hear your part of the story. It's not my story to hear. It's not my story to hear. I'm not part of this. Just blown away. And then Jessi says, I didn't even know he told you the story of that night. And she starts to cry. And when I saw that part of it, what really broke my heart about that was, imagine going through something, okay? So tragic, so traumatic to your life. And two other people, the person that did it to you, okay? Two other people having a conversation about it. And you're not even there, you're not even present, and that third person has no business being part of it. And also to know, while you're having this conversation and finding it out, that third person has grilled you, okay, for the last couple years, told up stories, changed lies, manipulated, calculated against you about this traumatic experience that happened to you that was never their part to begin with. I mean, I just sat there and I watched this and I thought, she's like living this over and over and over again. I just can't even imagine it. And so then she says, why would you listen to him? And Gabbie said, I was getting ready to defend you. She said she was waiting for him to lie and she wanted to fight for her. Okay, I'm like, this is where I'm like, does Gabbie Hanna live in another world than the rest of us live in? And this is not the first time I felt this way in covering YouTuber stuff, like where it's almost kind of like they live in this bubble where they don't really get the whole idea of what's going on, okay? Now you can see that I'm talking around certain words because obviously YouTube doesn't like those words, but I included them in the video clips because I think it's important for you in the entirety to hear Jessi's story from Jessi's point of view, okay? But what are you defending her against, I guess is my question, okay? What are you going to fight for her for? This is a person that you should want nothing to do ever with, to ever talk to. I would never talk to this person, okay? Ever. I don't even understand. I mean, to hear their side of a story or something like that. I mean, I'm so just like blown away. Like, that mentality is like such a 12-year-old mentality. Like, there's no maturity there whatsoever, okay? What did you feel like you needed to defend this person against? What did you feel like you needed to fight for them for? Like, what were you going to do? And I saw several people last night had commented on Twitter and they had said, she wasn't looking for him to lie, she was looking for Jessi to lie. And I was like, oh, that's interesting point of view, And then it goes on, and like I said here, why does Gabbie need to be part of this? This is not about her. And that's absolutely, none of this is Gabbie's, okay? Why are you in this? Why does Gabbie have to be in everything that has nothing to do with her, okay? Like, and it blows me away. And then she said she was ready to tell him off. I mean, like, this is like, okay, this is not like, I can't, like, this is not just like, oh, your friend's boyfriend was at a party and you witnessed him kissing another girl. And so you were going to tell him off and you were going to fight. That's how Gabbie sees it. Do you guys realize that? Like, do you realize how serious this is? And Gabbie does not see the seriousness of it, okay? When she herself has shared similar experiences, like, I don't understand. Like, I'm very confused. So then she said, and this part was confusing to me in the video clip, but Gabbie says that she says to him, I'm never going to publicly bash you or defend you. I don't understand why you owe this man anything, but whatever. And then Gabbie says, I'm never going to publicly bash Jessi. Why are you having this conversation with this person? Like, this is it's so sad. The fact that Jessi had to live through this phone call on top of everything else, So then Gabbie says that he tried to blackmail her after this one. Now this is where she victimizes herself, okay? So she's told the whole story of her having this phone call with Curtis. She didn't get the response from Jessi that she wanted, because I think what she thought Jessi was going to say was, well, thank you. Thank you for wanting to fight for me. Like, I don't know why she thought that was the response that she was going to get, or all that. But then she turns this into, and then he tried to blackmail me. So then Jessi goes in and she starts saying stuff, and Gabbie goes, hey, I let you speak. Okay, then she demands a public statement apology from Jessi, stating, I should never have done this. And Gabbie says to her, that is the way I will stop talking about this. She then goes on to say, my lawyers will not let me drop this without an NDA, because I'm going to live the rest of my life wondering when's the next time Jessi's going to bring this up. Hey, Gabbie, you know what? Jessi has a right to bring this up every single time she wants to bring it up. If she wants to bring this up 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for the next 50 years of her life, that is her right, as if this is what happened to her, not you. You have no part in this. Do you not see that? The only conversation that should have occurred is this. Jessi, I should never have spoken to him, period. And I apologize for that. And allow me to make amends to you in any way possible. And also, I should never have publicly discussed this at any point with anybody. And further talked about what happened to you, because it is so personal, it is only yours to discuss. But she feels that Jessi owes her an apology over what happened to Jessi that Gabbie inserted herself in the middle of and then decided to speak on. Okay. So now we're talking about lawyers and suing and NDAs and all this kind of stuff. This is where it's gone with Gabbie Hanna, okay? So then Gabbie says, I genuinely just want it to be effing for real over. Don't you think Jessi does? Do you think Jessi wants to relive this for the rest of her life? Like I said, if she wants to bring it up, she can. It's hers, right? Do I think that that's probably healthy for her? No. She probably doesn't think it's healthy for her. You think it makes Jessi happy? This is why she's held onto these since last June. Because she didn't want to have to bring it up again. She didn't want to relive this again. Okay. So then Jessi tells her, well, then sue me, and then we can get to the bottom of what you're upset about, right? At this point, Jessi's kind of just trying to placate her, because you get, like, Gabbie is so, like, it's so delusional at this point, this whole phone call, that now Gabbie is the victim of everything that happened, right? And Gabbie pauses, and she says, no, but she wants to, she goes, because Jessi says, you know, like you heard, instead of bringing it to our followers and our fans, and Gabbie goes, no, but I want to bring it to our followers and our fans, because they're the ones that were affected by it. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. No. Jessi was affected by this. Your fans and your followers were not affected by this. I know you think that what you're talking about is all the videos and the public back and forth and yada, yada, yada. But this has never been yours from the beginning, right? You know? It reminds me, and I talk about this a lot, okay? I love the movie The Contender, and at the very end of it, one of my favorite lines is, that she says, principles only mean something if you stick to them when they're inconvenient. But before that, what I love about it, and if you've never seen this movie before, it's about a Supreme Court justice that is going through becoming a Supreme Court justice and getting approved. And these pictures come out from when she was in college, okay, that she's naked and she's at this party. And she will not address it. She never addresses it, right? And at the end of it, he says, you knew all along the pictures were doctored. Why didn't you say something about it? And she responds to him and she says, because it was never theirs to ask in the first place. Okay? And I think that this is the whole thing that's being missed about all this. It's like, to Gabbie, is that this was never Gabbie's to discuss. This was never Gabbie's phone call to have or FaceTime with this Curtis. This was never hers to insert herself in the middle of it. Even if she had, this was hers to go right to Jessi and say, this is what this man told me. And no matter what their differences were, she should have put that above and beyond. I mean, I can't even imagine. She should never have inserted herself in the middle of this publicly. No matter what other people were saying, she should have gone to Jessi and she should have just made this right for Jessi all along. So then it goes on, and Gabbie says, I still have to clear my name. And she talks about this being stressful for her too. This is stressful for Gabbie, right? She really doesn't understand the impact of how this has probably played out on Gabbie or on Jessi's life, you know? And then she says, what I want is for people to hear my side. I don't want to hear you. Or she says, no, she says, the only thing I want is for my name to be cleared, for me to feel my story is heard. Do you not think that's what Jessi has been trying to do for the last couple of years? While you have stood in the way of that. While you have stopped that from actually happening for Jessi, the one thing you could have given her through all of this was for her name to be cleared. You were the one that stood in the way of all of this. And then Jessi says that's not going to happen. And then Gabbie says if that's not going to happen, then I need to continue doing what I'm doing, which means coming out and talking about this publicly. And also, I need you to work on a public statement. And this is where I just was like, what is going on here? Like, did she really just say that? And then she says, and what I also need you to work on a public statement, and then we can work on it together. I want an apology, a public apology that this should never have been made public. That's what Gabbie Hanna says. And then Jessi says that's not going to happen. And Gabbie says you can extend that same courtesy to me considering what I've been through. So now this is about Gabbie Hanna again, and Gabbie Hanna is the victim of what's happened. Gabbie at the end says, this is not me trying to hurt you in any way. This is not me trying to say, do this, or this is going to happen. Well, I guess it is, she says. Sad. This whole thing is so sad, you know. And there are so many people that are coming out and they're saying, you know, like, that people shouldn't continue to talk about Gabbie Hanna because it just gives her the attention that she wants and that she feeds off of this and all this kind of stuff. I don't even know what to say at the conclusion of this. I'm just so completely blown away by this. And I just don't even know what to think about it anymore. It makes me so sad that Jessi had to live through all of this. All of it. Any of it. She never deserved it. It never should have happened in the first place. And I hope in some way that by her putting it out, all the love and the support that she is receiving, I hope in some way rectifies this for Jessi, and you know, and that maybe she can find some closure to this in some way. I don't know. It breaks my heart, and I you know, I think that Gabbie Hanna really needs to take a look at what's going on in her part of the world. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of that if you feel like you want to in the comment section below. And I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.